Joe, lower your hands! Teddy!
Some sort of beast has entered our abode.
Gotta knock these bozos' wieners off.
I swear it's not as bad as the name sounds. Or that look.
I bet he deserved it.
From the Great North to Wonder Wharf. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of From the Great North to Wonder Wharf, your one-stop destination for bento box information. As always, I am JB, and this is our buddy Adam.
Hello.
Grandmaster Flex helping us out. Since Mike has decided he's joining the circus or the fair, or I think it's the state fair.
Is he a carny now?
He's a carny, yeah.
He better bring us some lucky ducks.
Yeah, some lucky ducks would be cool. Maybe he's running the booth right now.
That'd be fun. I have my lucky duck over there.
Oh, yeah, I've only got my little pin. He's over there.
I got mine from the crew party for the crew release of the movie. A friend of mine went and gave it to me.
Very cool. Hey, K-Rod. Happy Mondays. And this is going to be a fun one. I mean, you get to see, of course, Adam's amazing collection that he has. Mine is behind, and I'm reorganizing it currently.
Yeah, so I need to clean up mine.
It's time to hang up some of the cooler posters and things that I have just buried.
Sorry.
No,
with my phone.
That's all right. But yeah, how was your Monday, Adam? How is your work week starting off?
Stressful.
Yeah.
Showed up for work today. We had 3 call-offs. So I had to juggle around stuff. My manager's last day was Friday. So I am acting manager. And I'm just doing 2 jobs at once, and it's been stressful.
Always fun to do 2 jobs at once and not get paid for it.
And my heart's not helping me.
No, you had that little bit of a scare going on.
Yeah, got my appointment scheduled, though, to get it shocked back into rhythm in December.
That should be a fun Christmas miracle. Christmas magic.
Oh, yeah. Get kicked in the chest by a horse. That's what it's going to feel like.
Well, hopefully we'll hang out and it'll be fun.
Oh, yes.
How's everybody else doing? K-Rod, how's your Monday starting off? As we let everybody get in and trickle in. Plus, this episode's going to be... I mean, we got plenty to talk about. The return of Jimmy Pesto.
Yes. And baby Zeke.
Baby Zeke was super cute. We also had Trev's back. I miss Trev a lot. Forgot how much I miss Trev. And not to mention, we had a pretty good Crapopolis episode as well. Hey, Bobist. We had it was a pretty solid week for animation. So where should we start? Let's go ahead and for news, there's not a ton of news going on out there right now. Mike would, of course, tell you with the Screen Actors Guild, they are having their final meeting. According to the studios, they've put out their best and greatest offer, and it's a take it or leave it. I think it's bluff.
Yep.
They both need each other, so I don't see how one can just call the other one.
Yeah, and the studios really need the actors more than... I mean, granted, the actors need them, but studios make money off the actors. The actors can do other things to make money.
Exactly. There's always going on tour and doing talks.
Yep. Did you see Kristen Shaw's leaving Twitter, or X, or whatever they call it now?
Mm-hmm. I did see that. So for all of you Bob's people out there, that is another one Bob less person going to be on Twitter. Right now, I know that Wendy left.
Mm-hmm.
John Roberts left.
Oh, I didn't realize John left.
And now Kristen.
Yeah. I think Lindsay's still on.
Yeah, I think most of them use it for comedy shows to promote their shows and what they're doing. But other than that, I don't think they really use it too much.
No, can never remember her name. Susmita Apruna?
Yeah. Oh, Perna. Yeah.
She has been using it for book tour stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of agree with Yahoo. I think that the talks are probably going to last into the winter. I think Mike and me have a wager. I said Thanksgiving it seems like they're trying to make that push, but it seems more or less that we're going to get into like a New Year's kind of situation.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
H. John, yeah, he's not big on X Twitter. He had his own Instagram account that was just strictly for Bob's, and someone hacked it. So then he was like, come join me on Jazz Highball. And that's where everybody went to.
I like his little bird watching videos.
Oh, yeah. I think he's also coming out with another jazz album soon, if you're into that. I don't know if you call, I mean, what the musicians around him play jazz. He just kind of hits the keyboard, but it's kind of a bit and it's fun. So
I've never actually listened to it.
It's not terrible. You can
Is
tell.
there a yes flute?
I think there actually is.
You play that yes flute.
He literally just sits there and then all of a sudden you hear like, come on guys. And then he just like bangs the keyboard and they're just like, they make it sound good. That's the whole stick, but like it's interesting enough. So I think we're going to get a third one of that.
Might have to look into that and give it a listen.
It's not bad. I think the title's called I Wish I Had Learned How to Play Piano, Part 1. Then there's Part 2. And now I think they're working on Part 3.
Nice. And he still hasn't learned.
No, still. Has no idea. I was kidding with the question. See, yeah, that's what I'm curious. Oh, so Adam is actually one of the moderators on the Facebook group that you guys probably are all on. The big, what is 150,000 at this point?
We're like 204 now, I think.
That's big.
Finally hit 200K this year.
He helps mod, and he also is doing some from North Wharf stuff. So Adam's always like we call him our man in the field. He always comes up with good information or intel.
I've always referred to myself as the executive producer because it's a real passion project for me.
Yes, I like that. I
want to channel my inner Frond.
The Adam.
I do have my North to Wharf Bob sign back there, though.
Yes. I'm not going to make it. No, Chelson's. What is this? All right. See you, Chelson's. I know your team, Mike. It's okay. Oh, he's a carny now.
The mustache. It's weird. I did the mustache for Halloween because my daughter wanted to go as the Addams family, so I was Gomez, but I'm slowly growing the beard back in.
Yeah, I trimmed mine for one final trim before November. Well, November's here, but I needed to get it tamed so that it's ready to go. So
and now you can let it go wild through the winter months because we need it. It's cold here.
It is cold, but I don't necessarily love it. I don't love the beard being super long. It gets annoying.
It does. My mustache, I'm constantly like doing this. I need to trim it, but I'm afraid I'll screw it up. And I look like Ron Swanson, so I'm keeping it.
Keep it. I would. In other news, let's see. Is there anything else worth reporting? We'll talk about the new Pesto. We'll talk about some of the other stuff as well. Dates for Comic-Con next year came out, so we have that. It's going to be same July 25th to 28th. So we're excited to hear about it. We've got lots of plans in place for Comic-Con, so that'll be a good time for us. And hopefully we can make our meetup bigger and better and have fun with that. I'm trying to think if I got anything else to report. Oh, Gene came, but he's downstairs. I was able to snag a U2's Gene figure on eBay.
Deal.
$13.50. So the Bob one's right now on Macari for $207, so that's never happening. And Louise is $99, and Linda, I think, or is it Tina? Twerking Tina is like $80. So,
I got lucky. I have the whole set. Mel got it for me for our anniversary last year when it came out.
Smart.
It's up there. You can't see it. It's too far away.
It's smart, though. It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I can't do them.
Yeah, I wish you could come, Bobbus. That'd be fun. We usually try to make it a fun time when we're there. Meet up with all the Bob's people and just hang.
I'm hoping next year at Con will be the first normal con that we get to attend where people are actually there.
I know. It's been 2 years of just no, the talent doesn't come because strikes and whatnot and COVID. So this could be the first one. Could be nice.
It'll be interesting.
It would be interesting.
I'm just glad none of us got COVID this year.
No one on the crew did. First time. 2 years ago, not so much. Everybody got it except me.
I think Stacy and Brad ended up with it, but they got it somewhere else.
Probably later.
Yeah, I think on the way home because they made a trip out of it and went somewhere else and got it from friends.
That's why, as Mike would say, you don't hang out with friends.
Nope. Just Zoom.
No one wants to see me in person. Oh, that's not true.
We do. I'm going to see you Thursday.
No judgments. And plus, you've been putting out some great edits, so we've been posting those.
So good.
All right, let's jump into this Bob's episode because news-wise, we're pretty not much coming out. There's some new stills on our page before we jump into the episode for the next episode. So if you're curious about what that's going to look like, I believe we have the stills up for it. So hopefully we'll get to see more of that.
Do you want to do Bob's or you want to talk some crap first?
Let's do some crap attack because I bet we'll probably spend a lot of time.
Yeah, I have like 5 lines of notes for Crapopolis and a page and a half for Bob's.
Yeah, we totally can do that. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Crapopolis. So this week's episode of I'm blanking on the title. Let me grab it real quick. I know it's Demeter.
Please, Demeter.
Please, Demeter. Oh, good pun. I feel like the Bento people just have a pun master who just sits there and does all this stuff.
I would love to see the writer's room as they're just throwing them out there.
But yes, Please Demeter is going to be about the goddess of harvesting, Demeter, who, unfortunately, the crops are not doing well in Crapopolis. They have a wheat plight, which Tyrannus doesn't really understand, and then kind of gets it, and then kind of doesn't get it. But he asks for help from his mother, and she says no, because she's just could not possibly do that. And so he's going to ask Demeter, which, of course, his mother has bad blood with. Over, I believe, is it earrings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she knows that she stole the earrings, but she says she borrowed them.
Borrowed without the intent to return.
Yes, I believe that's what she called it. So, as it comes out, Tyrannus and Demeter end up hooking up. And Deliria gets a little jealous. Not of the hookup part. That's not what we're about here. But more or less, she's just concerned that Tyrannus might get taken advantage of. Oh, she cares. And then we have a subplot here of I love Hippo. I think he's one of the coolest and funnest characters by far. But the subplot that we got this time is that Hippo allows Stupendous to go to Hades to fight one of her rivals who died.
Cracked.
Yeah, Crack.
Which is such a weird name.
Very weird name for a warrior, but okay. So what were your thoughts on this one compared to some of the other ones you've seen?
I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed. I feel like I laughed a few more times in this one than I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Tyrannus got the date with Demeter and he was walking out, dancing and singing, all excited about it, and he fell down the hill. I laughed out loud on that part.
That was good. And then I also like that they took something that was very much, he rolls into that centaur and he's just like, how's your day going? He's like, it's great. I just got a date with a god. And he's like, yeah, well, my wife died.
I can't clean out her closet without crying.
And then he's just like, I'm not going to feel bad about this because you brought this to me and told me and trying to ruin my day to make your day feel better. And he was like, not doing it. Just walks away. I also enjoyed Schlub a little bit with this one, how he's all into the whole idea of him dating a god. He's like, oh, do tell. We love the deets.
Give me the deets.
Deets. And we find out that once he finds out who it's with, he's like, "Oh, your mother will destroy you. You cannot." He's like, "It's best if I just pretend I don't know."
Which I didn't pick up or not, but it makes me wonder if Schlub has a history with Demeter too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Is it Schlub?
I mean, I loved the last episode where the guy's just like, "I'm definitely gonna get with your wife later," and he's like, "If you do, okay." He's like, "I'm
What
not
am I
in
gonna do?
control of her." So he's
I like
very
that.
aggressive. But overall, I liked this episode. I find that like you said, I laugh at more jokes than I don't. And I feel like the show's kind of at least fleshing out some of its characters more and more. I'm just curious to see where it all ends up going. And if we can get some really good like family plots with all of them involved.
Yeah. I would like to see a lot more backstories coming in.
I think once they lay the groundwork with the first season, I think we'll get more.
Oh, yeah. Just like they've done in Bob's.
And then Bob's as always has laid a huge amount of groundwork, so that's probably why.
I did love that Demeter had her little saying as she flew off, her quinoa, and then at the end it was, I think, rice.
Yes, quinoa.
It was so random.
I wasn't expecting that.
Also, Susan Sarandon. I was surprised to hear her voice.
Yeah.
But as soon as she spoke, I was like, oh, it's Susan.
Yep, they got a big catch with that one. I don't
She hasn't
think
done a whole lot lately, I
that's
guess.
Susan
But
Sarandon yet, so good on them. But overall, I like this episode. I don't know if it's like one of my like top fives, but it's still good. I enjoy it. I think it's helping Tyrannus a little bit have more of like just more about him. He's always seems a little like flat or one-sided. So it seems like he's getting a little more fleshed out.
I feel like they did the same with Stupenda. They kind of fleshed her out a little bit more too. Made her more than just a warrior. Once she realized, like, I'm gonna die in here, but I'd rather live.
Yep. It's not always about just winning. I think that was something she's so used to getting that she was like, I have to just give it up. It's not worth it. And I love that Hippo was like, you kind of have to stop. This isn't going to end well. It doesn't get better. This is the best it gets. I was able to kind of just get them to finally leave.
I like that he came to save her, though.
Yeah.
Hippo's great. I'm going to pin at him somewhere.
My favorite, like, probably is my favorite character in the show. I do enjoy him a lot for how weird he is and like his just about him in general. It's just weird.
He's a mad scientist. He's perfect.
In a fish, like he's a fish in a literal bowl that walks around in some weird contraption. Like it's incredible.
He's an ancient astronaut.
Literally, he probably is.
Aliens. Have they? What is he? Have they ever even said? I can't remember.
No. He's just a monster, just like Schlub, but a different way. But that's about it. That's all they said.
Schlub got busy with a mermaid.
I guess.
Or a siren, I guess.
Maybe a siren. That would make sense. But it's just very interesting. I wonder if there's a whole race of underwater creatures. Like maybe he's part Atlantean.
I bet you we'll find out.
Yes, at some point. That'd be cool.
I want to see Atlantis. That'd be awesome.
I mean, we got to see Hades. So it was a pretty cool rendition of what Hades is. But it'd be really cool to see what that looks like when they get to like Atlantis and other cool places like that.
Hades did kind of remind me of Hercules a little bit. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about ancient mythology, but
I wonder if
maybe
they're
it's supposed to
move Disney a little bit in some respects. Because I remember when we were talking to, I think it was Peter, he brought up like we did Hades, but we did it our way, or it might have also been Miranda. We had to do Hades our way and stay away from Disney. Because everybody will be like, oh, Hades, it's got to look like this. And I felt it looked a little more like the video game Hades instead, so I was more about that. But overall, I agree that crap is getting better every single week. And I'm very excited to see kind of what they have for the next two seasons because I'm sure it's just going to get bigger and bigger each time they do.
yeah. Sure. Well, like season 3, I feel like any series, once they hit season 3, they kind of hit their stride. They know the characters, they know the plot and everything, and the shows get 10 times better by season 3.
Agreed. I'm excited. I mean, we've already seen episode 9, so we're one away from that.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how many episodes we even get for season 1 as well. They haven't really said.
Hippo's birth mother.
Cool.
That would be awesome.
I'm really hoping we do get more background stories. I think if Bob's has kind of shown anything, that we as like viewers want more background story. And we want more about the characters that we love and less. It doesn't always have to be just about the family or current things. It can be more about just stuff that we don't know because it builds the lore. That's what we're into.
Yep. I want to see Schlub's background. Like, I want a full episode of just him in his youth.
I'd be okay with that.
I'm sure that would be interesting. So many different gods and monsters.
I do wonder if we're going to see like Mount Olympus and all that with all the other gods. We've seen a few other gods, but not all the gods.
I want to see someone steal Zeus's lightning bolt.
That'd be cool. I always like to see that. Or Pegasus. We haven't seen Pegasus yet. Some of the other things would be cool to see. But they got plenty of time. A battle between the gods would be cool too.
Oh, yeah. Be like Endgame.
I'd be okay with that. Anything else you want to add about Crapopolis before we do the deep dive with all that is the return of Pesto?
That's all I got.
All right, everybody. Let's talk more about the return of Jimmy Pesto. So we got a brand new episode of Bob's Burgers last night, and it had been rumored that we were going to see Jimmy Pesto, that he was going to come back, that it was going to happen, and we were also going to get some background story about Zeke. And we got both. And I have plenty to talk about with this because there's so much good that came out of this. So to start off, we have our episode. What's the title for this one? I always forget to write down the title.
Oh, bully or it or not.
Oh yeah,
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not. Got it. Again, excellent job, Bento pun people. But yeah, this is an episode that, and when we talked about this, me and Mike were talking about it, and we were under the suspicion that possibly Will, that we find out is the name of the character that comes to school to Wagstaff, is, or basically was Zeke's bully. That was the impression that we had taken from the still shots and kind of from the very little clip that we were given. And it's definitely a little bit of a curveball.
They flipped the script.
They did flip it, and Zeke tried to stop it. He tried to like correct the ship and be like, no, but everyone kind of ran with it because it shows so much about Zeke's character that like no one would expect that he would actually be the bully.
Yeah, and it just shows how much he's grown in the 5 years since 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense that like he's like, yeah, we moved around a lot, but also at the same time, like it kind of made sense as they showed the shots of him switching school after school after school, just being so destroyed that he's like, it was hard to make friends. I didn't feel comfortable. Like it makes sense that he would find a group of people that gave him attention, and that's kind of what he was looking for. So he became a bully.
Yeah. Oh, there's another episode that's mentioned there.
No, I don't. I mean, you can move around and not a lot and not become a bully, but I think with Zeke, they did a good job laying the groundwork too with like his impulsiveness, with his ADHD and his attention stuff, that he was just like, it was too hard for him not to like wrestle people or put them in holds and stuff. Like he was just so constantly on the move that it was bound to happen. And he even said the first time was a complete accident.
There was I can't remember the episode, but there is an episode where I can't remember the storyline, but Zeke does say he's just trying to push you away before you push him away. And he talked about how he moved around a lot when he was younger, and it kind of reminded me of that, but I can't remember the episode off the top of my head now. But it makes sense, like, why he would be the bully. Like, he finally felt accepted by somebody, and he just needed that.
Yep.
Which I feel like is why he is so attached to Jimmy Jr.
I agree.
He's the home, the brother that he always wanted, the stability, and he finally has that, and he doesn't want to let it go with Jeju.
Yep. He doesn't, and he was willing to do quite a bit to keep it, which we find out in this episode. He's willing to do a lot. Real quick, Foxglove, we're talking about the new episode. If you haven't watched it and don't want spoilers, it may be a good idea to leave for a minute. But if you're cool with it, we're just talking about the episode in general, and then we're going to jump it into like all the good stuff about Jimmy Pesto and Trev coming back, the message of like what Bob had with Jimmy, and of course, we're just getting into the Zeke part right now.
Bobbist, you are correct. That is the one with Kendra is the one I was thinking of, where he's talking about kicking him in the crotch before they kick her in the crotch.
Yep. And that makes sense. He learned that.
Yep. That's such a good episode.
That's why I think Zeke got it. He was there. He understood it. He was part of it, and he understood it didn't get better. He even said that, like, it doesn't get better. So I think...
It makes you more lonely.
Just makes you more lonely. And he understood that. And I think kudos to Bobby Tisdale for making that. Like, he and Brian, like, when Brian Husky did his Rudy-centered episode, I felt they nailed that. The Amazing Rudy. And now we got another main plot about a side character that we all love, Zeke. But we got so much more about Zeke. That he's more complicated, that he's grown so much, as you said, for the last 5 years. That's huge development for him. We also got the Wagstaff booger wall.
I had to take pictures of that.
That was disgusting. I guess it's kind of like the Seattle gum wall if you've been there. It's kind of reminded me of that. People just put their boogers on the wall and walk away. But
there was a piece in that at the end when Zeke talks about getting licked by a booger tongue. It made me think of Diary of a Wimpy Kid when he has the cheese touch.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they were kind of alluding to that or not, but that was the first thing I thought of.
It's not. I didn't even think about that. Interesting.
I watched that a lot with Zoe when she was younger.
Foxlove, this episode will probably be more discussion based. We try to do trivia like once every couple weeks. I think we're definitely going to do a Thanksgiving based one this month at some point. So that's going to happen.
JB's afraid of me and trivia anyway, so no big deal.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Even though you wrote the book on it.
Mike is the novice.
Yeah, between you and I think we could destroy Mike.
Yep, they're going through. Let's see what some of the other people, the guests, have said here. So, Bob is, Baby Zeke was. Yeah, Baby Zeke was cute. Gonna be your lock screen for a while. Yeah, I actually hope that I'm hoping we get actually some Baby Zeke pin. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see here. He was a man of his word. Yeah, he didn't back down, and they literally said, "You don't have to do this, Zeke," and he still was like, "No, I feel like I have to do it."
He did it for Jimmy Jr.
Matters. Yeah, he did it for Jimmy because Jeju means so much to him, as you said. It's like, and it almost feels like he's making amends. Like his best friend is a kid with a lisp. And he felt so bad making fun of Will when he had a lisp that he literally was like, no, Jeju needs to understand that I really mean business.
Yeah. And like you could tell how just terrible Zeke felt about it. Like he didn't want Jimmy Jr. to find out about it. And when he did, like he begged them to forgive him because he knew how badly that would hurt Jimmy just hearing about it. These damn writers and hitting us in the feels.
I agree. It's a lot. This whole season has been stacked with a lot of things. And then we haven't even got to Bob and that plot. So Zeke was our A plot, which a lot of people thought that Jimmy Pesto coming back would be the A. But it seems that Bob and Jimmy were the more the B plot, which was fun.
I-
I think it got enough attention that it needed. But right out of the gate, we get Jimmy Pesto back.
So good.
And yeah, most of you brought up Eric Bauza, aka Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Big Bob. A lot of characters. I mean, in one Disney short, he did, I think, 21 different characters. He is known as the voice man. So now we have Bauza, Herman, H. John, and I mean, we got some amazing voice talent who can do a ton of different voices for us.
They could do the entire show themselves.
Potentially. But it's just crazy how much talent's now on that cast that they can just use whenever they want. And I almost wonder, maybe you can weigh in on this too, Adam, and the rest of you. Do you think that this episode has basically been sitting, done, ready to go, but just was missing Jimmy Pesto's voice?
Probably.
Because this isn't like a Jimmy-centered episode by any means. It seems like a regular episode.
Yes.
So I really wonder if this episode was maybe done earlier and just kind of sat around and they had to wait for casting Pesto.
Could. That, or maybe it was going to be a season finale. That's what I was wondering. Like if it would have been last year's season finale and they end up holding on to it until now.
That would make sense too.
Sorry, I had to switch chairs. My leather one makes me sweaty.
Because I was just curious, because it's just, I mean, they probably would have had Jay do it. But the thing is, like, he was not part of the show, so they had this episode sitting there animated, ready to go. And maybe they just waited to do all the voice work till like last year. But I'm just curious if it did sit there or not.
Did you notice how they, it almost seemed like they kind of tried to explain why Jimmy hasn't been there? Where he talked about the rats covered in cockroaches in the spaghetti.
Oh, yeah, they closed it down for a little while.
So I kind of, like, they just kind of threw it in. It's very subtle. I like that.
And it didn't have to be super big or anything. I think that was actually well done. Because it also leans into what Bob knows about Jimmy. He always said like his restaurant's dirty and crappy and all that stuff, but he doesn't get but Jimmy gets all the attention that Bob doesn't. So then we kind of see a little bit like, oh, now it's like Jimmy has past problems and all kinds of other issues. It's just he never ever talks about them.
Yeah, and he admitted that he doesn't cook. Everything's microwaved.
Yeah, that was
I think they've talked about that before. Like Bob has poked fun at him, but like to hear Jimmy go, "Let's look at the oven. It might look like a microwave, and it is, but
it's not." Yeah. And this kind of reminded me a little bit of the Mafia one where he stole the guy got hit in his restaurant, and then Bob's like, that was our restaurant. It was similar to that where Jimmy steals things. He steals ideas. I also enjoyed the banter going back and forth between Mort, Teddy, and Bob. We haven't gotten that in a long time.
yeah.
And
I was just happy to see Teddy back too.
Yeah, I know. It's good to have Larry back. It's good to have Andy back too. I missed that banter. That was in like seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like they just were always there.
Yeah, and it always took place in the restaurant, and they could do a 10-minute scene if they wanted, and we would watch because it was so good.
Mm-hmm. Like we had the whole deepening one. Literally, Mort and Teddy are in there with their like boidles and girls helping him. It's like
How sharp was it?
Mort's jokes more.
Hey, Perry was in that one too.
He was, yeah. If you're following the Perry timeline, kind of like Loki, but also Perry's he goes around making sure that the timeline stays true and accurate.
He's the watcher.
He's a watcher. If you don't know who he is, we can post a picture of him because I might actually start doing little clips about him and just be like, have you seen this man? What episode?
I need to poke him again to get him on with you guys.
Yeah, he'd be fun. He used to
He would be.
storyboard the show, but he's one of the most used and famous background characters. Most people say that he is Zeke's dad. He is not, though.
Perry's just a wealth of knowledge too, with everything he's worked on, from Bob's to Rick and Morty's to Beavis and Butthead.
Yep. He's done it all.
He's so fun to talk to. I can't wait to see him again at Con next year.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Hanging out with him and Mario is always fun because they've gotten so much knowledge and so much work that they can just talk and talk and talk. And it's basically the stuff that we grew up watching as kids. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
all good.
like Mario, he started on Animaniacs, which
Yep.
my favorite show in like late elementary to middle school.
And he just told me, he's like, oh, I found all my like Batman the Animated Series stuff. And you're like, I didn't know you worked on that. He's like,
I didn't either. I want some Batman stuff.
Yep, I'd love some of those like papers. I'm sure he has because I'm sure they used papers back then still. So he's probably
That's
got all the titles.
One regret I will always have now is that I will never get to meet Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
He is the one person outside of Bob's people that I really wanted to meet at Comic-Con. Like, he's one that I would pay for and wait in line just to shake his hand and say, thank you for making my childhood amazing with Batman.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, he is the voice of Batman for me. That's what I picture when I think of Batman, is his voice. So.
Oh, yeah. And he's one of the few that was able to do Batman and Bruce Wayne. I mean, granted, it's animated and voice work, but he played two distinctly different characters that were the same person. And it was amazing.
I
Bobbis?
agree.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was like, I agree with you. It's probably my favorite version of Batman by far, besides some of the games. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Bob said, yeah, the way that Bob did the whole ending, and like it was almost like the Zen one where Mort was teaching him how to be more Zen, and Jimmy got under his skin, and he was able to kind of like help himself out of that equation. It was more or less Bob became the antagonist. He went over there to cause a problem, and like everyone was telling him like it's not a big deal, just leave it alone. But he just could not let it go because in some respects, Bob does, I think, really want that limelight. He wants to be known and seen for like, you have good ideas and get validation.
Especially with anything food-wise he comes up with. Like, he wants that credit because he works so hard to get any sort of praise from his dad for his cooking, and it never came to fruition. So to have Jimmy steal his awesome idea and then profit from it, I could see why Bob would be mad. But yeah, hearing him say, I'd rather be me than you, made me squeal inside.
Yeah.
Just to hear Bob say that, like, he finally is like, I'm happy I'm me and I'm good enough and I don't need the praise because I'm not you. And that's
it's not
perfectly
necessary
fine.
for him anymore. And I think that was a big step for Bob because he was like up real punitive, like, I'm going to sit out here and wait. It's the whole purpose of the thing. And he finally just was like, no, I don't need it.
I'm done. I'm going to go back to my family.
More than I do. And it's not worth it.
Jiminy.
Did also love, though, that literally Teddy's like, Mort, order the burger of the day. It'll make Bob happy. He's like, one burger of the day, please. And then he's eating. It's just like, it's just weird. A whole bunch of little meatballs. And he's like, yeah, Mort, sometimes you just want the soup.
Teddy had a great line that I was not expecting.
The therapist line, that was so good.
That was good too. But I don't want to have fun like that with a bunch of balls in my mouth. That was surprising. That was very adult, and I was surprised they put that in there.
No, I agree with you 100% that they were able to sneak in a lot of those kind of jokes in this one. Bob came back after that. Yeah, I kind of wanted a little P-Race callback. I think that could have been fun. But it's okay. It's okay. We might get it later. I'm sure Jimmy and Bob will get into more peeing races. They can't not be involved in one.
No.
That was another thing, too. Jimmy Jr., this episode, was almost like, he was almost like a therapist. I agree with Bobbis. Like, his narrative and his lines were so particular and so, like, to put Zeke at ease and to, like, help Will. Like, he basically was just like, we can talk about this and we can sort this out. Like, you not talking, Zeke, is just making it worse. So we should talk about this and help you get better. It was so adult. For me not loving Jimmy Jr. and thinking he's terrible for Tina and all this stuff, it's like, this is some real big growth for the kid. He actually kind of wasn't Jimmy Jr.
I feel like they had to make him the voice of reason, though, for when the truth came to light that, yes, he has a lisp, and Zeke was making fun
That
of
made
that.
the blow even harder because you're like
Yeah.
sticking up for you so much, Zeke. He cares about you so much.
And then you make fun of a lisp.
Well, then he's also like, I don't even know if I can be friends with you or I can make these pants with you anymore.
The tank bottoms.
You know, the tank bottoms, TBs.
Tank tops for your bottom.
But he's like, I don't know if I want to make those with you anymore. And that's a pretty big thing to say for him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Jr., no matter what Zeke does, is always Team Zeke. But this is the one time he kind of questioned being part of it.
Did you notice in when they were at recess, Gene and Louise were in the jungle gym thing, like the fort?
Mhm.
Louise was reading a Barobu comic.
Just like the movie.
I'm assuming it was Barobu because on the back, you could only see the back, but it had Barobu slugs on it.
Mm-hmm.
I like they threw that in there.
I think they're trying to tie more of the movie stuff into the main show as they can. I think they really want to kind of ground it as much as possible.
I think they should come out with a real Barobu deck. Sorry, my southern accent came through.
Mm-hmm. I would love it. I mean, it'd be cool if it was like a promo item. Like, you know, they hand out like the pins at San Diego, which I did get the last one. It was on eBay for $3, so I did get the last one.
Yeah. Oh, there's a set on eBay of that one, and I think 2 of the Handy Prancers, but it's like Bob and maybe Tina. And there's a 4th one, but it's like $85, and I just can't justify that. Tina and Gene, yes, or Louise and Gene, and Bob. Oh, it's a whole family. I hate you. I don't have any of those.
Sorry, dude. This person had all 5 and was getting rid of them for $20. So I literally was just like, yeah.
They didn't even know.
It was right after con. I think I was like, because usually I'll sit, because like we both have. Do you have a set of the clam ones? The movie pins for the
No,
clams?
I never got the clams. The only ones I have from Con are the Zeke and Jimmy Jr. from some like
Blade
it bot.
Runner. I have those. I cannot find the Great North one of the Bigfoot. I have the Alanis glitter pin, but I don't have the Bigfoot one because they went from like row to row and we didn't get that one. But yeah, I do have the clamshell car and the lobster car from the movie.
Yeah, I didn't get any of those, and all the ones I've seen listed online are too rich for my blood. Anyway, that I want to pay anyway.
I think I looked for a while, then I finally found someone selling it for like $15. Because I try to make it like Todd prices. If I can keep them around there, that's fine.
Yeah.
Which the annoying part that nobody gets is like all these pins are literally just given away for free.
Yep.
At the Hulu booth. And we're right next to the Hulu booth, and they don't share.
They don't like us.
Unless you can ask. So, like, we went up to get the Bob's and Great North poster, and we had to be like, can we have one? And they're like, well, I mean, as long as you don't ask in front of that guy, then yeah. But otherwise, no. It's just so weird.
I don't get it. Well, probably because we're vendors, and most booths have rules about vendors.
But let's hear everybody's opinion of Mr. Bowles' work as Jimmy Pesto. We had posted this. You had given us intel that it was going to be somebody different, but they posted on their IMDb that they were doing it. And I do wonder if it was a ruse to try to throw people off. And it worked. Although Mike said that he did listen to that guy, and he's just like, I don't hear it.
Yeah.
And we listened to him, was like, I don't hear it either.
Well,
I was like, this will be.
I did have that one friend that works on the show that I talked to, and I'm like, this is my guess, and I guess Eric, and he's like, I can't confirm or deny.
We were thinking Bowser for a while. Me and Mike had made several short clips of us just throwing out wacky names and stuff like that. And literally, we both were like, but seriously, who could it be?
Yeah.
And we're like, it's got to be Eric Bauza. Like, he does everything, and he does it so well. And he was at Lightbox with Bento Box. So Lightbox is the animation kind of like show that Bento puts on for like future animators. And Eric Bauza was hanging out with them. And I was like, there's got to be a reason he's hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I wonder if he's the new Jimmy Pesto. And there he was. And even the zooms hit just the same. I was super thrilled with that.
It was a little
Also,
different for me, but
it's not like, so like when Jay does the zoom, it was like a zoom, and he goes up.
yeah.
Eric kind of stays a little bit in the same range. It's
Mhm.
just like zoom.
Yeah, he
Which
was a lot
is
more
fine.
quick to it. Like he's really good, and I could not be happier with him. It was just weird at first to hear like he sounded like Jimmy, but a little different. But once I like went through the episode, he's really good. He did have when they were in Jimmy Pesto's with the journalist, there were a couple times where it almost sounded like a New York accent was coming through, and I'm like, this is what Jimmy should have sounded like from the beginning.
Yep.
Because he's that wannabe gangster and very like New York mafia don wannabe. And I think he's going to be great throughout the rest of the series as Jimmy.
I agree. And I do think I want to hear him do Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could do Mickey just fine. Because, I mean, he does Big Bob. So I would expect we could get him to do Mickey. And I think he is a guy that, like, can do voices very well, especially if he just has a little bit of time to kind of get to know him. That I think if anybody had to leave again or, like, had to take a leave of absence or anything like that, or they bring in new characters, he can provide the voice.
Yeah.
He's kind of like their Herman. Because Herman does so many voices that I think they're like, we need to get somebody else in here who can as well.
Speaking of Herman, it was nice to see Bronca in there, even if it was only one line.
And I forgot that he does Trev.
I did too.
Yeah, he does Trev. And I was like, I saw it on the credits. I was like, oh my God, he does Trev. I forgot he did that.
He does everything.
It's so long. I did enjoy Trev's last comment where he's like, zip it, Trev. And he's like, all right. And unzipped. Because he's just like, he had mad respect for Bob. I think deep down, Trev does like Bob.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
always
he does
shown that he
see
has.
Bob to be friends with.
He only
think
makes fun
Jimmy
of Bob
and him are
because
just-
Jimmy does.
Exactly. I think other than that, he really respects Bob.
Yeah. He probably looks at Bob as like a good family man and dad, which is the complete opposite of what Jimmy is, and I think he has a lot of respect for that. But he also has an odd respect for Jimmy, which might borderline on a crush, I think.
I kind of agree. I also like, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get a lot of background story with Trev. Unless we do that one episode that me and Mike really want, where it just moves from one side character to the next,
That'd be amazing.
and we get about them. But I wonder if maybe Trev's dad wasn't exactly around or a great figure, so he's attached to both Bob and Jimmy for that role.
Yeah. Which that makes me wonder, like,
Kind of the
with
cool dad,
Rudy-
but Bob was the family dad.
what?
It's almost like because Jimmy's like the cool like dad who goes to like Cancun and Kokomo and like does the like successful business guy and does all this stuff, and then Bob has the family
Mm-hmm.
and his own business. What did you miss? Are the rides gonna function without you, Mike?
Yeah, Carney.
Yeah, we've been saying that you're a carny worker, but you're working at the fair, so you're a fairy.
I think we need a video of Mike singing Lucky Ducks at the fair.
Yeah, are you working the Lucky Ducks booth, Mike? That would be cool if you were able to do that. We just started talking about that's We started talking a little bit about how Eric had just nailed the whole role, and we're talking about Trev a little bit coming back, and just in general about this episode. And I know you have a lot you want to say about this, but you're not going to type it, so you'll probably just say it next week.
He needs to be able to yell it.
Mike's rant, which I'm fine with, but I know you really enjoyed the episode, so
That's our word. I love that.
Mhm.
Speaking of Trev, I don't know why, but when he asked Bob if he wanted water, and Bob's like, "Yeah, I'm actually a little thirsty," and he put it down and goes, $7. And then the gotcha, I don't know why, but I love that because it was like a weird, playful side of Trev with Bob that you don't get to see really ever.
Exactly. And I think Trev was literally just like, he could see that Bob was upset and knew that he was valid to be upset. And he was just like, "You want water? Like, can I like help out?" Like, I think Trev just genuinely feels bad sometimes. All right, Mike, get back in the fair. Get out of here.
Eat some funnel cake for me.
Oh, yeah. Corn dogs are good too. The food is always good at fairs, I will say that.
I love the grilled corn. That's what we grew up with anyway.
We never had that one.
Our there's a church festival by my house every year as a kid, and we'd always go, and they had one of the only things they served was funnel cake and grilled corn on the cob. It was amazing.
Oh. We usually would just get like funnel cakes, corn dogs, cheese curds, like French fries, like everything just fried.
You weird and upper northerner Ohioans and your cheese curds.
Cheese curds are great.
You know me, I'm picky.
I know. Haven't gone since you were 10. Yeah, I don't necessarily love to go to places where the rides are put together an hour before I get in.
Mm-mm. I have a
And I
story
won't
about
ride
that.
the rides at all. I'll go for the food, and I'll go to like
Games.
for the games and stuff, but I will not ride rides.
I remember in 5th grade, I had we had a guest speaker that was a paraplegic, and he told a story of how he became paralyzed, and he was at a fair on a Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel collapsed while him and his wife were at the top. When they fell, his wife didn't make it. He landed in a sitting position and broke his spine and was paralyzed ever since. After hearing that, I'm like, yep, I don't need rides at a fair. Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, the taco dog. Get a little Wonder Wharf venture food in there. Who made that? Binging with Babish made it. And he was like, it's very awkward. He's like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
It'd be
He's
hard
like,
to
it's
eat,
basically a chili dog and a taco shell. He's like, that's what you're making.
and it's just going to fall out.
Mm-hmm.
Tacos don't hold anything. You need to burrito that up.
Yeah, that'd be actually very good. Think of it, a Skyline chili cheese dog inside of a burrito.
I'm sure Skyline has something similar to that.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
So I think you can actually get.
Yeah, that is good.
My brother-in-law ordered something similar to that. It was the chili cheese and hot dog inside of a burrito with something else in it, but it didn't have the bun.
I've heard that they're very big on pickles up there. I've also heard lots of different things about Minnesota when it comes to food, that they also are near Wisconsin, so they also roll into cheese curds and cheese in general.
Do you guys do the weird raw beef snack thing?
Oh, I've seen that video.
I know that's somewhere around that area. It's like northern Midwest.
Mm-hmm. And there's the other thing where it's like, there's something with drinking game. They play like a weird drinking game, and like it's just way too intense. This year had pickle pizza, pickle cookies. Oh, margarita.
Pickle margarita. Ooh. You would enjoy a Tommy gun if you like shots.
Ugh. See ya, Bobist. Thanks for popping in.
Bye, Bobist. Can't wait to see you
We'll be
next
wrapping
edit.
up. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up in a little bit anyway, so no worries. All you can drink milk. No. I love milk, but now a gallon is way too much milk.
I only
Chocolate
did it
milk.
in my cereal.
No. It's okay. Like, I think as a kid, I drank way more of it. But as an adult, yeah, cereal is pretty much all I do for the most part.
You've heard the stories about my nephew, but like he can be outside playing in 90-degree weather and come inside and chug a giant like pint of milk.
It's disgusting. And fade. Sachet.
On that note.
So, anything else you want to add about the Believe It or Not with good old Zeke?
I think I actually covered everything I had written down. Zeke,
Very good.
we did find out Zeke went to Rocky Creek Elementary School for 3rd grade.
We can add that to the list of trivia knowledge. Oh, yes, that will be the next episode. Sorry, guys. Next episode of Bob's is going to be Escape from Witch Island. We were told by LB, Lauren Bashar, that this is not a Halloween episode.
But scary.
But it's creepy and spooky. We have a theory, because the synopsis is Mr. Fischoeder enlists Bob and as to be his personal chef while for a glamping trip on an exclusive club's secret island. Linda gives the kids a crash course on cocktail party etiquette. I'll say that's probably the B plot. The Bob and Fischoeder plot is going to be probably the A, which is great because I love when they're together.
Yes.
As, of course, Mr. Fischoeder sees Bob as his surly papa kind of character, so he enjoys that. And I do wonder if this is going to be like The Most Dangerous Game, where literally those old, creepy gingerbread house on the left guys go to the island and hunt Calvin. Maybe paintballing him or maybe fake hunting him to scare him. Maybe he did something with one of their businesses.
Good.
So I'm worried or feel that Bob and him are on the hunt or basically just running away. So it's going to be a very jumpy scare kind of like episode.
I could see Fischoeder bringing Bob to be hunted, and then something happens where he pees off the other people and ends up needing Bob to help keep him from getting hunted.
I can see that too.
That would be interesting.
So I'm excited for this one. I think it could be very good. It has potential, which could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm also thinking Lord of the Flies as well. I think they definitely could be part of it as well. If they make a Conch reference, then definitely Lord of the Flies. If it's like, if you have the bedpan, you're in charge, then I'll be like, okay, it's definitely Lord of the Flies.
I need to watch that movie again. And read the book. They were both really good.
They are. Both are banned reading, I think. I know Lord of the Flies is banned in a couple states. It's dumb.
I'm going to go sit in front of my flag I have outside that says read banned books and read it.
There's an entire booth at Comic-Con dedicated to giving away banned books. I've popped in every year. If you donate, I think it's $5. They just let you pick one. So next year I'll probably get one.
I need to finish up Mouse.
They had that one.
Yeah,
they had that.
I got that
one.
last year.
That was one of the $5 books you could donate and get, and I already have a copy of it, so I was like, I don't need another one. But next year I'll probably just grab one. It'll be my plain reading. It's possible for someone to be hunted by the country club. I mean, there's pretty much richest pastime to read stories, watch. Yeah, I would be surprised if it's those old guys, because Lauren also promised that the old guys would be coming back. We had asked him, I think it was last year, if those old guys were ever going to come back from Gingerbread House, and he said next season. That's all he said. So we're thinking it could be this one.
Is The Dangerous Game, is that the Ice-T movie?
No, it's the short story where Count Zaroff gets people on their boats to crash into the island, then he hunts them. The guy has to outwit him, essentially.
Maybe the Ice-T movie is based off of that, but in that he plays a homeless man that is paid to come to an island and he's hunted.
Yeah, that's essentially the kind of same idea. In the book, it's a short story. He feeds you really well, and then he's just like, all right, now I'm going to give you an hour to run.
Yep. That movie's based off that.
Yep, and that's kind of what it is. So that could be about what this episode, the plot could be more about. But overall, I felt that this episode, I feel like a 9 out of 10. So probably like a medium well, almost medium. It's pretty much great. I just don't know if it has all of the oomph that a 10 has. So that's why I'm kind of like sitting there like it's good. This whole season's been pretty good. I haven't really had any episode where I've been like, oh, that was just whatever.
Yeah. I have seen in the group today, a lot of people have commented that this episode was the closest to seasons 1 and 2 that we've been in a long time.
Yeah, it did feel like a little bit of a homecoming. And maybe it's because Jimmy's back. That protagonist needs to be there, and it's back. So
yeah, because without him, it felt like a lot was missing.
There just wasn't enough back and forth. Like, just even having him in a little bit of an episode where he does something and says zoom and walks away is enough.
Yeah, I miss seeing Jimmy. It was great. Before we had him here and there, every couple episodes, he'd pop in. You're dumb. And that was it. But it was just enough to, like, get your little fix of Jimmy Pesto. One thing I had come through the group a lot today, too, was Linda's little song. Everybody loved that.
Oh, the end credits? It was good.
The ketchup loves a mustard, but the ketchup gets a little flustered, so I can keep them separated.
Mm-hmm.
I want that on a t-shirt. Pin idea.
Yeah, we can offer it up. We'll definitely let them know our ideas. Also, with the someone asked, do you think Will be a mainstay character? I think so.
Yeah, probably won't see him every episode, but I think he'll be there in the background at least for a while and come in here and there.
Well, look
at Arnold.
That's true. We don't get Arnold all the time either.
They've introduced him. He's here and there a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I want to see Benji again.
Yeah, I mean, if we had to pick Will or Benji, I think I'd still go with Benji. I think Benji's cooler. Will, I think, makes sense because we don't have Daryl really anymore.
Nope.
So maybe this is their replacement, is to have someone new join in. Plus, they know Zeke. Tina already said maybe they're setting the stage for a little bit of a crush battle. Because she already put, like, some people said that you're super tall and that they find that really hot. But not me, though, but other people have said that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe she gets a little bit of a crush and Jimmy's got Jimmy Jr. maybe has to step up a little bit.
That'll definitely happen because Tina, it's a boy and it's Tina.
Yep, she has to.
She couldn't make it one whole day without thinking about other boys.
I mean, if we're really going to talk about, like, where is Miss Jacobson? She hasn't really been around. She hasn't had lines in years.
Yeah, I don't really remember after the episode where they chaperoned, really.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be a love triangle plot.
Yeah, we already kind of had that with 2 for Tina.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a love thing like that. I think it might be more or less that I'm okay if Tina just tries other people too.
I could see her and Will becoming friends and getting closer and Jimmy getting jealous of it for, like, really no reason. Like, because, like, nothing romantic, they're just friends, but he's jealous that some guy has her attention and he could do something like he did in 2 for Tina where he tries to win her back.
I'm curious, though, if that is what happens, if we get a little more of, like, what Yahoo was saying earlier, if we actually get Jimmy being more an adult.
That could be nice.
And not being childish, like, I just have to dance off and win. And it's like, no, like, you could actually just be cool with her and she might be nice to you. Teddy's Balls comment, the whole booger wall situation.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. It did give season 1 and 2 vibes. It felt good again. So, let's see what time are we at. Yeah, we're about over an hour. So it's probably time for us to start slowing and wrapping it up.
One last thing I forgot to mention that
Go for it.
I enjoyed because my wife is a twin, but I love how Jimmy Jr. confessed that he used to tell Andy and Ollie that there was only one of them, and it
Yeah.
really messed him up for weeks. That was perfect.
I agree. I think the Sasha thing works fine. They're just friends. She's like made the joke, and he's just like, "Girl, if I was hitting on you, you'd know it." Like he has such good lines. So it's, I think like that. And with Josh now, they're just friends, and I think it works out fine.
Which I want to see Sasha again. It's been a while.
I think so too. I think
Okay.
it's more of an awkwardness because he's new, and she just wants to impress him and seem
Yeah.
like a cool kid instead of like walking around the museum with a Henry Haber being like, "Which one's nerdier?" Like, don't play this game.
I don't think we should play this game. Well, you're no help.
What a nerd.
I'm
So
very excited for the Raccoon King and I.
yeah, I think that's going to be a good episode too. I mean, this season seems stacked already, so very excited to see what it has for us. So
Yes.
far, this season has been a redemption season, and
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I mean, last season, I know a lot of people were disappointed, but it was kind of weird with the whole. It was made during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a little lacking from what we were used to. But like, I feel like this season is making up for it.
Mm-hmm. And I think they're trying new things. They're getting more side characters involved. We're getting more like deeper plots where the Belchers don't have to be the focus. And I think it works in their favor. We want to know more about the lore, so we're getting it.
Which that Rudy was actually a surprise because I remember back in the day, Lauren saying that they'll never do. It's always the Belchers are going to be the focus the whole time. They won't do side stories with like Jimmy Pesto where it's just about him and his family. And it was surprising to see so much about Rudy, and the Belchers really weren't involved that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great episode.
Exactly. And I think we can live and we learn from that. So I'm hoping we get more of it.
Me too.
All right, everybody. We're about to wrap things up. Any last questions before we end tonight's show? Great North can't have all the fun. Yeah, they do, though. The Great North has a lot of really good side characters in it. And hopefully they'll be back in January. I know that we know that, so I'm excited to see what season 4 of that's going to have.
It's going to be so good.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm ready for the Beef and the Tobins to be back.
And Jude.
Judy.
I love Judy.
Honest as well.
I still
All right.
don't get how they got Alanis.
I think they just asked and it was a yes. That was the crazy part.
She's got to be just an amazing person. Like between that and like Dogma,
Yep.
I loved her in Dogma.
It's like, I'll just do it. It's fine.
That sounds fun. Why not?
Goes on to make a movie that people claim to be some of his best.
Cult classic.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. For any kind of news or anything like that for next week, we'll post anything we find, of course, on our Instagram page. So go ahead and follow our page at From North to Wharf. We have Patreon. We're not asking for you guys to be part of it. If you don't want to, really, it just helps, as Mike would say, keep the lights on and allow us to do giveaways and things like that, which I think we're going to do one probably by the end of the month, if not for Christmas. So keep your eyes peeled for that on our Instagram page. We have Discord. You can find us at From North to Wharf for that. I'm trying to think if there's any other stuff. I think that's about it. Anything else, Adam?
I don't have anything.
All right, guys. So from the Great North to Wonder Wharf, your one-stop destination for bento box information, I am always going to be just JB.
I'm Adam, just filling in for Mike tonight.
And we will see you guys next time on Mondays, 8 o'clock every week, Eastern Standard Time. And let me go ahead and run our lovely video. I just got to figure out where that was. You can see why Mike struggles. Well, why we both struggle with this. I found it. All right,
So many
guys.
buttons.
We'll catch you later. Have a good week.
See you, JB.